Right, I think you're fine, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'll begin the meeting then. Can I welcome everyone, members, officers, any members of the press and public who may be watching on YouTube. Welcome to this meeting of the One Corby Policy Committee. Can I begin, first of all, by asking, do we have any apologies for absence? No. Okay. In that case, do any members have any declarations of interest that they wish to bring to our attention and indicate whether the interest is prejudicial or non-prejudicial, the nature of that interest, and whether they intend participating in the relevant agenda item? Please. Yeah, Councillor Paul Beattie, please.
Yeah, item 2, the Natural Heritage Trail. I have a personal prejudicial interest as a committee member of Rockland Forest Wheelers, and I was involved in some of these discussions with other committee members at the cycling club, so I won't take part in the discussion.
Okay.
Chair, it would probably be better for you to withdraw from the meeting totally, Councillor, if it's personal and prejudicial.
Chair,
when we get to that item on the agenda, Paul, yeah?
Yeah.
Chair, Tom, if I'm here, I can't see how it's prejudicial. He may be using the things that are built, but it's certainly not prejudicial. He's not gaining personally, especially.
Well, with due respect, Councillor, it was actually the Councillor who declared it was personal and prejudicial, not me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was just about to say.
Oh, sorry, Chair.
Yeah, Paul did declare it was both personal and prejudicial. So at that point, then someone will. Well, I mean, you leave the meeting after the first item anyway, because the Heritage Trail is the second item, Paul. So if you just take yourself out, that'll be fine. Okay, so that deals with declarations of interest. Any further declarations of interest before we move on? No. Okay, can we move to the minutes of the previous meeting, which was held on the 8th of September? Are we agreed that the minutes are a true record, and is someone prepared to move such? Yeah. Councillor Addison moving. Councillor Isles second. All in favour of receiving the minutes then, please show. Okay, that's carried. So moving on to the first of the two reports. I should just say, and I should have said at the outset, that the agenda paper, certainly the one I have in front of me, talks about one exempt item. I think today it's been made clear that both the items on the agenda tonight are open items. So the second report has been moved out of exempt session. So we've got two open reports, and the first of which is the staffing establishment and additional posts. I'm going to ask Paul Gold to present this report.
Very briefly, Chair, this is for information. Unfortunately, we weren't able to bring the request to committee as there were no committee meetings or full council meetings scheduled at the time. We received a request from the Project Management Office if we would take these two additional posts onto our staffing establishment. Members will be aware we took the Chief Executive post onto our establishment. That was agreed by full council. We utilised the Chief Exec's urgency powers procedure, consulted with the leader and the leader of the opposition and the Section 151 officer. There were no objections raised, so the Chief Executive authorised these posts to go onto the staffing establishment. There are no financial implications for the council, as any costs will be met by the PMO office and the local government reform programme. Happy to take any questions, Chair.
Okay, thank you for that, Paul. Do you have any questions? Can I ask a question then, Paul? It's been a question that's been asked of me. Do we know where these two people will be based? Is it necessary for them to be based at Corby Borough Council, or are we the employing authority, but they may be based elsewhere? Or do we know the answer to that question yet?
I don't believe there is an answer. Norman's shaking his head. I know that Rob Bridge, who's the Chief Executive Designate, has someone at County Hall operating as his personal assistant, but that doesn't necessarily mean he'll be based at County Hall, obviously. He doesn't start until early November. The Director of Legal and Democratic Services is due to start late November, and the Director of Finance, I believe, will be the end of the year, if not the beginning of next year. But I've not been party myself to any discussions about where these officers will be based, or whether they'll want a hot desk, or whether Norman has anything to add to that. I don't. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
as far as
Norman,
I'm
over to
aware,
you.
sorry, Chair. As far as I'm aware, Chair, no decision has been made yet about where senior officers are going to work from up to, and I think beyond, vesting day.
Okay, any further questions? If not, we can move to the recommendation. And the recommendation is obviously to note the decisions which have already been taken by the Chief Executive under emergency powers. So that is to note the creation of the post of a Director of Legal and Democratic Services on the Council Staffing Establishment, and the creation of the post of Director of Finance of Northamptonshire Council and the Council Staffing Establishment, both as detailed within the report. Can I say a mover for that recommendation, please? Councillor Addison moved and seconded by Councillor Sims.
Councillor Howard, I do.
I just, sorry, I don't know who all, you all seem to put your hand up at the same time, but my eye was directed towards Jean and David. So we'll take Jean as mover and David as seconder, if that's okay. And all those in favour of accepting the recommendations? Any against? Abstentions? Matt, your hand was up. Matt Keane. Did you just were you just slow getting your hand down for the?
Yeah, I was in favour.
Okay, fine, no problem. Okay, that's carried. So we move on to the second report, which is now, as I said, an open report, and that's entitled Natural Heritage Trail, and it's either Liz and or Rebecca or both that are going to present this report, and Councillor Paul Beattie will leave the meeting at this juncture. So who's going to go first? Rebecca?
It's Liz.
Okay, Liz. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so this is a really good news in the fact that the council's been awarded £200,000 for the development of a natural heritage trail, which will link the 5 main woodland sites in Corby. The funding will enable repair and conservation works identified in the tree survey to be completed, as well as implement trail signage and open up the woodlands to create safer and more accessible spaces. It will also support a learn to ride area and improve visitor understanding of both the natural and industrial heritage within the borough. The project will be delivered by council officers in partnership with key stakeholders, including KHL Big Local, Rockingham Wheelers Cycling Club, volunteers and our health and education sectors. Prior to commencement, full consultation will be held with local ward members, as well as the public and key stakeholders. The costs for the project are all externally funded. Now, unfortunately, there has been a formatting error in the report conclusion, and my apologies, but the conclusion should read, this project will create an accessible natural heritage trail across the green spaces within the borough of Corby, implementing clearer signage across the town, creating and improving new and existing cycle routes. The recommendations remain the same. in that members approve the budget and agree the council will be the accountable body for the funding and expenditure. Thank you, Chair.
Unmute. Yeah, thank you for that report, Liz. Any questions on that report? Comments?
There's Councillor McGee, then Councillor Addison.
Thank you, Paul. John, if you want to go first, and then Dean.
Thank you, Chair. Well, what fantastic news, Chair. You know, we do have a very strong heritage in Corby, including Roman roads, etc., going through our woods, and it's absolutely fantastic. I would just like to as lead member, and I'm sure the rest of the members would like to thank Rebecca and Liz and all the team that's managed to get that amount of money into Corby, because it's just not that amount. It's money for a paid officer to ensure that this is run over the several years. So, you know, my sincere thanks, and I'm sure we would all like to say that, and it's really good news.
Yeah, thank you, John. I think we would all echo those comments. It is indeed very good news, and well done to those officers who you've mentioned for the efforts that they put in to attract the funding. Jean, you wanted to say something?
Thank you, Chair. I just want to echo what you and John have said. It fits so well into our green agenda, and also it fits in with the Towns Fund as well. So all the things that are now coming together, which is going to be a bright future for the our residents going forward.
Councillor Watts, Chair, wishes to come in.
Yeah, Kevin, okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Hopefully you can hear me. Might have to scream down this microphone. Echo the congratulations and thanks to the officers involved. This isn't just about pass, this is about safety. This is about health, improving the health of the people of our borough. On a slightly negative note, we have got existing pavements and cycleways within Corby, and some of them are in a desperate need of maintenance. So we can't forget the existing ones. Some of the cycleways up towards Weldon need clearing. They need a proper clear out. They have suffered from 14 years of neglect from our previous grounds maintenance company. So not just these new cycleways, but all of our cycleways need a good thorough going over to improve them and bring them up to standard.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Liz, did you want to respond to that?
I'm not sure that some of the items obviously will be covered within the heritage funding. We are looking at pathways within the woodlands identified and making them more accessible. Is there anything else, Rebecca, that you wanted to add to that?
No, just to say you're right, Liz, that, I mean, for example, there are disused cycle pathways in Kingswood that are on the boundary edge. So we wouldn't necessarily want cycleways within Kingswood itself, but we'll be reinstating those that are on the boundary edge and making sure that all cycle pathways, both existing and created, will be obviously of a safe nature. So we will be looking at further funding, maybe in a phase 2 project, Councillor Watt, to look at some of those that are on the outside of the town's boundary for now.
Okay, thank you both, Liz and Rebecca. Do we have any further questions?
There's Councillor Sims, then Councillor McGee wishes to come back in.
Yeah, David, you first.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Chair. I actually want to echo what everyone has said, and also what Kevin has raised in terms of maintaining the ones that we've got, which has been answered. Because I think that's important that, yes, this is fantastic for the people of the borough, but it's also important to maintain the infrastructure and the paths that we've already got. That's not, you shouldn't really forget them. I mean, you talk about East Carlton Park, it's a wonderful asset for the town, really is. and that it's frequently used by not just people of the borough, but people from outside of the borough come to visit that area, which is shows you how popular and how successful that area has been. But you've got some parts of that, unfortunately, that have not been maintained the way it should be. For example, the old train, I think it used to be at West Glebe at one time. It's got plants and trees going out. It looks bigger than my front garden, and it needs cleaning. And that we want to maintain the area. But yeah, great for the town. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks, David. John, over to you.
Thank you, Chair. I'm glad there's some small points raised, but to ensure that the cycle paths that are already there, we have to work in partnership with Northamptonshire County Council, who has a strong responsibility for a lot of those. So it's not just us, but this is a great start, isn't it, to improving the health, because we know when people are out riding bikes, because the last 3 months I've started to do it myself. It's a great feeling. It's great for your health and it's great for your well-being. So I welcome this, and anything that needs to be sorted, I'm sure the officers will work extremely hard to do their best to do that.
Yes, I agree. Okay, are there any further questions or comments about this report? If not, can I see a mover for the report, please? Councillor McGee, and a seconder, please. Councillor McEwen. Okay. So all those in favour, please show. Anyone against? Any abstentions? No, that's carried. Thank you. Thank you all. Then that concludes the business for tonight. Only a short meeting, only two reports to consider. So thank you for your attendance, and I'll see you all again soon, hopefully, and keep well. Okay, bye.
Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, bye.
Bye, everybody.